What happens if your spouse dies without a will? Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that I know can be pretty heavy, but it's so important, especially if you live here in sunny Florida. So let's say your spouse passes away and they never got around to writing a will. Yeah, we all know someone like that, right? Well, don't panic. I'm here to break down what that means for you as a surviving spouse. Spoiler alert, you might have more rights than you think. Let's get into it. First and foremost, let's talk about what happens under Florida law when there is no will. In legal terms, this is called intestate succession. Sounds fancy, right? But all it means is that the state steps in to determine how the deceased's assets will be distributed. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about my rights? Well, as a surviving spouse, you're definitely at the top of the list. If your spouse dies without a will, you're entitled to certain assets. In Florida, this is called what we call the spousal share. Let's break it down. In Florida, if there are no surviving children or parents of the deceased, guess what? You inherit everything, and that's good news. But what if your spouse had kids from a previous relationship? If that's the case, you might not walk away with the entire estate. So let's say their kids are in the picture. You're entitled to half of the estate, while the kids split the other half. And remember, practically all assets are included here. We're talking real estate, bank accounts, and even personal property like art collections and jewelry. Now let's chat about what happens if the assets are in your deceased spouse's name alone. You might need to go through a legal process called probate. It's not as terrifying as it sounds. It's just a legal way to settle debts and distribute assets, but it can take time, possibly a few months or even years. So what's the upside? As a surviving spouse, you'll likely be the court-appointed personal representative, which gives you some control over how things move along. And don't be scared about all the legal terminology. Trust me, you can totally handle it. Okay, so here's a little checklist of what to do if you find yourself in this situation. First, you'll want to gather documents and collect your spouse's asset information. Think death certificate, bank statement, property deeds, and so on. Next, you'll want to consult an attorney. This is key. Having legal counsel can make this whole process smoother. Third, file for probate. This is a legal filing that will let the court handle things. You'll file an inventory and let the court know what the deceased assets are. Believe it or not, even when things feel complicated, it's essential to remember that you're not alone. You have rights as a surviving spouse here in Florida. Use your friends and your family to help you through this tough time. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you found this video helpful. Seriously, don't hesitate to reach out to a legal expert if you need personalized advice. See you next time and take care.